Manipur's violence-hit Churachandpur town is limping back to normalcy with the resumption of traffic and opening of markets. Following talks and reaching an understanding after witnessing violence for 2 consecutive days, people familiar with the development said. People were also seen going to churches as there were no signs of protests in and around the town. However, according to the people familiar with the matter, the night curfew imposed by the authorities along with the prohibitory orders, including suspension of mobile internet services in the Hill district, particularly in New Lamka and Churachandpur areas, is still in place. The Churachandpur town, 65 kilometers south of Imphal, witnessed violent activities on 27th and 28th of April in protest against the activities of the government, including a drive in a reserved forest area. Sunday's sign of returning to normalcy in Churachandpur town came after a joint meeting of district administration and leaders of civil society organizations was held at Churachandpur with Manipur Director General of Police on Saturday, said the people mentioned above. In the meeting, it was also agreed that the additional security forces will be withdrawn at the request of the CSO leaders. The CSO also ensured that there will be no blockades or mob violence. And now to get a little update as to what situation is prevailing in Churachandpur that was mired in violence, we've got our correspondent Mubashir, who is joining us all the way from Manipur, and he will be giving us an update as to what the situation is like. First of all, hi Mubashir, thanks a lot for joining me. Coming back to the Churachandpur violence, what is the current situation at the moment? I mean, like when Hornbill TV spoke to Kuki People's Alliance General Secretary Mr. Hansing, he had mentioned to Hornbill TV that there were blockades in after every 500 meters as you enter Churachandpur. So is that situation still on? And what is the current environment in Churachandpur? Is it still very tense?
Well, Akipito, the situation is, as you said in the report also, limping back to normalcy. And as we got the report from the ground, the situation is almost normal, even though night curfew is still going on and internet is still suspended. But the situation is by and large normal. Traffic is, very busy and everything is going back to normal. However, one thing the state government can understand is the fact, this Churachandpur district is a big district, and above it, Churachandpur town is a big town, not some district headquarters, small district headquarters. It is by the standard we have here in Manipur or in the northern state like Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, etc. Churachandpur is a big town. If you go to Churachandpur, you will realize it is it is as much developed as the Imphal itself, the capital city itself. So Churachandpur is a very important place, and it has a sizable population also. So state government, cannot afford to eliminate such a sizable population of people and such an important big town. So state government needs to reach out to the people and listen to their preferences. Yes, okay, Victor.
All right. So Mubashir, now that the situation is turning back to normal, like you said, it has also been reported that the prohibitory orders, especially is Section 144, is the internet still suspended? We're getting reports that in New Lamka and certain areas in Churachandpur district, the prohibitory orders are still there. So, any expected time when all these prohibitory orders are going to be lifted?
Well, Akipito, the suspension of internet and other night curfew will be lifted when the situation comes back to normal. There is no doubt about this. But however, one thing is, the damage has been done to such an extent. I mean, the alienation between the people needs to be fixed. People need to be, government needs to give confidence to the people, and the MLAs, that belonging to Kuki community and Churachandpur needs to play a big role. They cannot escape at this such a big juncture. They are, many of them are part of the government itself, so they can either talk to chief minister or the state government, and they can talk to the concerned citizens also. Many of these MLAs have won by landslide victory, as they say. So they cannot simply escape at such a crucial time. So they need to reach out to the people and CSO here, the student organization here, and the state government itself, and then bring the bridge the gap.
All right. Mubashir, also an unfortunate thing, like when the violence was going on the 27th and 28th of April, we had got major reports that the security forces had to use batons rubber bullets, and they had to use tear gas. And we also got reports that around 11 protesters were arrested by the security forces. But what there were rumors running around that some people lost their lives also. So did you get any, like on the ground, did you get any report as to protesters losing their lives?
No official confirmation. I don't think any life was lost in the confrontation. However, the using of force alone, I still mentioned that the using of force alone cannot, maintain the law and order situation in any given situation. What is more important is to give the confidence to the people. People, state government is to reach out to the concern of the citizens of that part. State government cannot simply order simply just bypass this this prohibitory orders, this 144 and all those internet ban, all those kind of stuff. It can only be seen as a temporary stuff, but it cannot be a permanent solution. Okay, Vito?
All right, Mubashir. Okay, now the important thing is in the report it was mentioned that the government or the administration had met with the CSOs on Sunday, and that is when they had decided to return. They had agreed that there will be some agreement, and that is how a sense of normalcy returned in Churachandpur. So, Mubashir, do you have any details as to what was discussed in that Sunday meeting between the administration of Manipur and also the civil society organizations? And also, is the ITLF, was they also present in the meeting with the administration?
It is not clear, what was the agenda of the meeting. However, state government is definitely, state government, particularly, the DGP and all those kind of, high-ranking officers are definitely, having, several rounds of talk with the people. But the issue here is a long-standing issue, about this the preservation of forest land and all this kind of stuff. The tribal all over the country feel that they are living in this forest since time immemorial. I mean, they are living a very long time back. And while on the other hand, the government feels that the preservation, protection of this forest land belongs to them, and it is their right. So the government wants to protect and preserve many of this reserve forest, etc. However, tribals are living in this place. It has been their source of livelihood for a very long time. So a middle ground has to be reached between this two people, and between these two groups. While on the other hand, the government also feels that Manipur being a border state, Manipur is bordering. Manipur had a long forest border with Myanmar. So many state governments feel that the many illegal migrants, as they say, people from Myanmar or Myanmarese national might have entered into Manipur side and settle somewhere in border areas or inside the interior part of the state. So they want to curb that illegal immigration, and that is why they started this whole process of land survey, etc. So when we started this land survey and all this kind of stuff, many of the tribal people are this migratory tribes. They engage in this Zoom cultivation. What they do is actually they to cultivate in a certain, they clear a certain hillocks and they cultivate there, and then they move to other places. So that is the kind of lifestyle they have been living for quite a long time. So many of them have no documents also. So it is very difficult for the migratory tribes to all of a sudden produce documents for the lands where they are residing for a long time. While on the other hand, the government needs to bring everyone living in the state under certain systematic order. Akipito?
All right, now coming back, I mean, Mubashir, let's talk about Churachandpur. In 2022, when Manipur went for elections, the Churachandpur MLA, who is Mr. L.M. Khote, was actually an ex-DGP of Manipur who took voluntary retirement, and then after that he wanted to look for the BJP ticket, and then got himself a JDU ticket, and he won with a massive margin of more than 18,000 plus votes. But then after winning, he shifted back to the BJP. Now, what is the current mood of the public of Churachandpur, like who literally voted Mr. L.M. Khote to power, that too with a massive margin? What is the current feeling of the public in Churachandpur, as we are also hearing side reports as to the local public of Churachandpur are kind of miffed with their MLA, Mr. Khote. So, what is the general impression of the public towards their local MLA?
Well, Akilito, you put it out right. Mr. L.M. Khote, even though he contested the election from JDU, he later on switched to the BJP. Now he is a BJP MLA. So he is part of the, embarrassing that government. So he, not only L.M. Khote, many of the MLAs belonging to Hill district, they have, they mostly live in Imphal also, and they mostly live in this, they mostly live in capital, that is Imphal, and they are, they hardly go to their respective place also. So people also need to understand, what kind of people they are sending. And there is I talked to, some friends out there, some media friends out there, and I asked the exact question you was, how is the feeling of the people of Churachandpur towards the MLA? So there is a kind of anguish, a feeling of anguish among the people about the roles which MLAs have played, but they fail to rise up to the occasion. When if you look at the assembly itself, there are 10 MLAs belonging to Kuki community, and almost except for 2 from KPA, all the other belong to BJP and their alliance. So they are part of the very much part of the government. Almost all MLAs are part of the embarrassing of government. So they could have taken the initiative, and the situation, the arson and the burning down of the rainforest office and all those port complex and all those kind of things could have been avoided had they were proactive. If not proactive, I think they could have they could have somehow managed to they were connected to the people and stuff like that. Akipito?
All right. Now that a meeting was held on Sunday between the administration, Manipur administration, and the CSOs. Mubashir, what I wanted to ask was, when Hornbill TV spoke to KPA General Secretary Mr. Hansing, he had said that the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum was a very new group, and that it was basically an umbrella body for all the various tribal organizations. So, what are the stand of these CSOs, and also will ATSUM take place in further agitations? ATSUM in the sense All Tribal Students Union of Manipur, will they also extend their support to the ITLF in case the meeting again breaks down?
Well, this ITLF people, this Indigenous Tribal Forum people, this is a very, as pointed out by Mr. Hansing, it is a very new group. Actually, this set of people are, nameless people. Nobody knows who are these people. So, mainly, so what the state government can do is, they are, they all of a sudden they organize this, massive funding, and, they created all those kind of ruckus, but nobody knows who are, this, even KPA people, they don't know who are this, Indigenous Tribal Forum people. So what the state government at the moment can do is they can, reach out to the civil society organizations, they can reach out to KPA itself, they can reach out to, other, the organizations. Actually, very influential. There are also other tribal organizations, organization, FLF, mother organization, and all those CSO, etc. But the main thing is, it will not resolve in a 1 or 2 meeting. This issue cannot be resolved in a 1 or 2 single cities. It is going to be it is a long outstanding issue, so it cannot be resolved in a 1 or 2 sitting of some CSO member and some MLAs, etc. So it is what the state government can do at the moment is, they can give, confidence to the people. The state government is, will not harm the interest of the, Kuki people or tribal people or any people living residing in the state. They can, give the assurance. They should give the assurance to the people, and that is how, after building this confidence, after taking up this confidence building, is that they could start slowly and slowly start the other process. Yes, Akadita.
Right. Thank you so much, Mubashir, for giving us the latest updates from Churachandpur and also informing the viewers about what the situation actually looks like on the ground. Thank you so much. Well, that was our correspondent from Manipur, Mubashir, and we just heard from him that normalcy has returned in Churachandpur, even though prohibitory orders are still on in some parts of the district. Well, but then it's most fortunate to know that peace has returned, but at the moment the situation is a little more tense as to the public of Churachandpur not being miffed with their local MLA, that is LM Khote, and also what our correspondent said, that the administration and the local MLAs now needs to start confidence building measures so that all people involved, all the stakeholders can be involved, and then the situation could be resolved.